All right, let's jump right in. We all spend so much time figuring out how to make money, right? But what about keeping it? That's what we're talking about today. It's this huge, often overlooked piece of the puzzle, asset protection. Think of it like this. We're going to build your financial fortress brick by powerful brick.
And this quote, wow, it just hits you right between the eyes, doesn't it? In a world where lawsuits are just everywhere, having your house, your business, your investments just sitting there in your name, it's literally like leaving the front door of your castle wide open with a sign that says, "Come on in."
This brings us to this wild concept called the litigation lottery. And yeah, it sounds kind of crazy, but check this out. A real survey was done in Louisiana, and they asked people how they planned to get rich. Number one, the actual state lottery. No surprise there. But number two, suing somebody with money. Seriously, that was their financial plan. So if you've built up any kind of assets, you're not just successful, you're a potential jackpot for someone else. Okay, so how in the world do you protect yourself from that? Well, it all starts with how you hold your assets, the legal structures you use. And to make it simple, we're going to break it down into the good, the bad, and the ugly of business entities. All right, first up, the bad. This is the sole proprietorship. It's the default for so many people when they start out, but here's the kicker. It gives you absolutely zero protection. None. If your business gets sued, there's no difference between your business assets and your personal assets. They can come after your car, your house, everything. It's all one big pile. Now, you might think that's bad, but hold on because now we get to the ugly. A general partnership is, and I love this phrase, liability times two. Because it's not just your mistakes you have to worry about. You are on the hook for your partner's mistakes too. Here's a crazy story from Phoenix that shows just how scary this is. One partner's daughter gets into a car accident. And because of how their simple partnership was set up, the other partner, the one who had nothing to do with it, was held personally responsible for all the damages. Can you imagine? That is a terrifying, terrifying level of risk. Okay, so we've seen the bad and the ugly. We know the risks. So what's the solution? How do we actually fix this? Well, this next part is where it all comes together. We're going to talk about the fundamental principle the wealthy have used for literally generations to protect themselves. And fair warning, it's a complete mindset shift. So what is it? What's the secret to real, actual asset protection? How do you get out of that litigation lottery and make sure the wealth you worked so hard for is actually safe? The answer? It's actually super simple, but it is so powerful. You create a legal shield. You literally separate yourself from your assets. Imagine building a huge, impenetrable wall between you personally and your business, your real estate, your investments. And the bricks you use to build that wall? Those are the good entities we talked about. The LLCs, the LPs, the corporations. And this all boils down to the ultimate rule. This is the mantra, the secret handshake of the financially savvy. Own nothing, but control everything. Think about that. Your name isn't on the deed to the rental property. Your name isn't on the title of the business. No. The LLC or the corporation owns the asset, and you control the LLC. That separation, right there, that's the master key to the whole fortress. But look, any good fortress has more than just one wall, right? It has moats and towers and all sorts of defenses. So let's talk about some extra layers you can add to your defense to make yourself an even less attractive target for those lottery players. Okay, this next idea is going to sound a little weird because it flips everything we're usually taught on its head. We're always told, pay off your debt, get rid of debt. But what if I told you that strategically, debt can actually be a form of asset protection? Picture this. You have a $300,000 property, but it has a $250,000 mortgage on it. Now, if a lawyer is looking to sue you, they see that property, and what do they really see? They see that the bank gets the first bite of the apple, a huge $250,000 bite. That only leaves $50,000 of equity exposed. All of a sudden, you look like a much smaller, way less juicy target. Now, this is super important. You cannot build this fortress by yourself. You just can't. You need a team, your own personal council of experts. You need an attorney who specializes in asset protection, and you need a CPA who really understands tax strategy. But here is the absolute most critical part of this. They must talk to each other. What you can't have is your lawyer building this amazing legal structure, and then your CPA has no idea what to do with it, and you get stuck in this 6-month game of professional ping pong where nothing gets done and you're the one at risk. And that leads to this. Well, this kind of provocative idea. Remember, a CPA's main job is tax stuff. They're great at it, but CPA can sometimes stand for cannot protect assets. Now, that's not a knock on them. It's just not their specialty. They are absolutely essential to your team, but if your tax plan and your legal shield aren't perfectly in sync, your fortress has a gaping hole in the wall. Everything has to be integrated. At the end of the day, all these tactics, all these legal structures, they're just tools. Building a real financial fortress is about something deeper. It requires a fundamental shift in how you even think about money, about problems, and about what's even possible. And this right here is the whole ballgame. It's the difference between two mindsets. On one side, you have the spectator. The spectator looks at the cost of setting up an LLC and says, I can't afford it. And boom, end of story. That statement just shuts the brain down. But on the other side, you have the producer. The producer asks a totally different question. How can I afford it? See the difference? That question lights your brain up. It turns it into a problem-solving machine. It's the difference between being a victim of your circumstances and being the architect of your own financial future. So I want to leave you with this one simple question. Is your financial fortress built? Really think about it. Look at your own finances, your own business, your investments. Are you accidentally operating as a sole proprietor with your family's home on the line? Or have you started laying the foundation, putting up the walls, building a fortress that can actually protect what you've worked so hard for? Because the storms, they will come. It's something you really need to think about.